Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Guys, my name is Drew and I am your 40-year-old bourbon. All right, so if you caught my intro video, you'd know that I'm a non-drinker, right? I don't like the taste of alcohol. I never really got into it. It could have been because I was drinking shitty beer when I was in high school or was being introduced to shitty beer because that's all we could afford in the Mississippi Delta, but I never really acquired a taste for alcohol at any level. And trust me, it wasn't for a lack of trying. Just not something I got into. However, recently I started exploring bourbon, right? This door of bourbon opened up to me as I was looking for a couple of really nice bottles for some friends of mine, right? They are bourbon drinkers, that's their drink of choice, and specifically Angel's Envy. So I really wanted to find something that would cater to their palate, be something that they would enjoy, but maybe not be a bottle that they have in their collection. So I thought, you know what? Let me explore some bottles and see what might be a good bottle for them. And I came across Blanton's. And I was exploring and reviewing Blanton's. It really kind of opened my eyes to this world that I'd never really been introduced to, whether at a young age or in early adulthood. And so I found myself going down this bourbon hole and reading reviews on Pappy's or Eagles Rare or Old Grandad 114 or Blanton's. And was reading the tasting profiles and reading the flavor profiles with maple, corn, rye, cinnamon, bourbon, brown sugar. These are flavors that I enjoy in my everyday life. Why wouldn't I enjoy them in a drink, right? So I got to thinking, am I missing out on something? And I'm really gonna need to let you guys know, am I missing out on something, right? So I made the decision to start exploring different types of bourbon. So as you can see, I'm on vacation. I'm at a campground in Pennsylvania. So what better time to have my first experience documented than while at the campground? So I ordered 2 bottles of Blanton's. They came in, and then I ended up at a liquor store and just was in front of just the bourbon aisle, right? Bottles after bottles after bottles of bourbon, pretty bottles, basic bottles, different profiles, flavor profiles. And I remember seeing an article and a review on Old Grandad 114. So I know you guys are sitting here looking at me like, why would you pick that as your first bottle to really explore and document a review of? Especially someone who's a non-drinker, right? So Old Grandad is, as you guys know, is really more of a bolder, kind of heavier flavor for bourbon and may not be a great start for somebody that's not necessarily used to bourbon, but I'm gonna let you know what I think. So my goal with this channel is to document my exploration of bourbon and kind of give you the point of view from someone who's traditionally a non-drinker. I thought this would be a good idea. I felt like it would be something that I would have a lot of fun doing while documenting and giving you guys the opportunity to see what my reaction would be to maybe some of your favorite bourbons, or maybe some bourbons that you hadn't thought about trying. Or maybe you're like me and you're wanting to get into bourbon, right? But you didn't really know where to start. Were you looking for something more sweeter, a little hotter, maybe a little more cinnamon on the palate? See if I can help you out with that. So what I hope to do is review different bottles of bourbons at different price points. I want to look at the bottle. I want to look at the color. I'm going to go neat and I'm going over the rocks. So because I'm camping, you get the great bourbon glasses that I have here. So we're going to pour one neat. We're going to pour one on the rocks. And I'm going to review both. But first I want to start with the bottle and the color just of this bourbon, because I think this is one of the more just rich, vibrant colors in a bottle that I've seen in any of the bourbons that I could see on the shelf. This rich mahogany, almost amber color to this bottle. Look how great this bottle looks in the daylight. Right, that color's just so inviting. This bottle just looks like a classic bottle of bourbon. You know, heavily labeled with Old Grandad 114. So you know this is 114 proof for a guy that's a non-drinker, right? It's amazing, right? But I love this bottle. Yeah, there's not much I can say about this bottle. It's characteristic from the standpoint that you know it's Old Grandad. It's not as characteristic as a bottle maybe like Blanton's or as an Eagle Rare, right? It's a little more taller bottle than this. It's more of a squatty, bottle that I would consider is kind of a bourbon bottle. You can see it's still corked, still got plastic on it, so you know I haven't tasted this yet. I haven't even tried this from somebody else to see if it's a bottle that I would like to review. But we're gonna open it. I'm gonna give you what I get on my nose. My nose may not be as refined as some of your guys, but there we go. That's the whole purpose of doing this channel and doing these reviews, is really to give you kind of my raw assessment of some of these bottles. And I guess I could have prepared to open the plastic a little better. However, I wanted you guys to see that this bottle hadn't been opened, and we were going to uncork it for the first time on camera. All right, so, oh wow, the cork actually smells really nice. God, that color is just amazing. All right, so on the nose, it actually smells a little sweeter than I thought it might. It smells like a traditional bourbon, or what I would consider a traditional bourbon. I'm actually getting a little heat in my sinuses, which may be really good, may help open them up a little bit. That actually smells really good. All right, guys, so I'm gonna pour a little bit neat, and then we're gonna pour a little bit on the rocks. And granted, my rocks aren't the nice, round, but ice balls that you guys may have at home, but I'm camping and I'm at the campground, so we're gonna use campground ice for this. All right, so I've got my pour, and God, I'm smell that one more. Guys, this smells really good.